This is Ian Sachs with your WICR Sports Update. Last night, in a rematch of the Eastern Conference Finals, the Pacers topped the Heat 84-83. They rallied from a 7-point deficit in the fourth quarter. It was Paul George who led the way with 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists, and Roy Hibbert added 21 points. LeBron James amassed 38 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists for the Heat. Indiana has opened up a 3-game lead in the Eastern Conference. Also in the NBA, the Charlotte Bobcats defeated the Brooklyn Nets 116-111 in overtime. Al Jefferson amassed 35 points and 15 rebounds, and Deron Williams led the way for Brooklyn with 29 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds. And Mizra Teletovic scored 22 points off the bench. In the NHL, there were 3 games last night. Vancouver topped Minnesota 5-2. The Rangers defeated Philadelphia 3-1, and it was Anaheim over Calgary 3-2. With your WICR Sports Update, I'm Ian Sachs. All right, and we are back, everyone, for our second segment here, and we will be taking a look at the 4 games tonight and the 4 games tomorrow night in the NCAA tournament. This will decide the Elite Eight, and we have tonight in the South region, we've got Florida and UCLA. Florida, the top overall seed, and UCLA, the 4 seed in the region. They've met 3 times in the NCAA tournament. Florida has won all 3 matchups. They met in 2006 in the national championship game, and then a year later in the national semifinal. Great matchup. 2 really good programs. What are going to be the keys to the victory for each team in this game, guys?
The keys to UCLA winning this game and pulling off the upset is they have to play at that pace they've been playing all year. They're one of the fastest paces, one of the fastest offensive teams in the country. About 21% of their offensive scoring plays is on the fast break. So that's a pretty high percentage to score on the break for the whole game. To beat Florida, they need to run and play transition defense. While being one of the best scoring teams in the country on the break, they're also one of the worst in giving up. So this is going to be key. UCLA is prone to playing zone defense, while Florida is known for changing their defensive schemes. They're very Billy Donovan and that defense is pretty hard to figure out. So UCLA is going to have a tough one here. But I think the biggest matchup here is the point guard position. With Scotty Wilbekin, one of the best remaining players left in this tournament, is a game changer for the Gators. Like, he is phenomenal. He is a solid draft pick in the NBA, in my eyes. But Kyle Anderson for UCLA he's a different point guard. He's 6'9". He's not as fast as Scotty, and he's not as good as a shooter as Scotty. But he's bigger, and I don't think that he'll be able to keep up with Scotty. And I think Scotty's gonna make a bigger play down the stretch, and Florida's gonna win. But it's gonna be a very tough game, and it's gonna be a solid Sweet 16 matchup. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, also, you talked about Scotty Wilbekin, and Florida, they just play cohesively. Actually, I have the Gators, just winning the whole thing. That's me personally. And also, I like the center they have in Patrick Young.
Yeah.
Definitely. Patrick Young, the guy just makes, game-winning plays, and he hustles. Like, you see him diving for loose balls a lot or whatnot. He just makes game-winning basketball plays. So, yeah, I think Florida will come out of that bracket.
I certainly agree with you guys. Sean, I agree with you. I have Florida winning the whole thing. I think this is going to be an absolute battle. I remember earlier in the year, UCLA played Arizona in the regular season and took them to the limit.
Mm-hmm.
And Arizona's the number 2 1 seed. Florida's the number 1. So not too much of a difference there. So I think UCLA is definitely going to be up for this game tonight. Mm-hmm. But I've got the Florida Gators coming out on top here. And and making it 4-0 against UCLA in the tournament. So anyway, the other matchup in this bracket, I doubt that many people had this matchup in the Sweet 16. The 10 seed Stanford going up against the 11 seed Dayton.
Yes.
I know I certainly didn't have it. I had
Dayton in mind. I didn't have Stanford.
Really?
Yes.
Dayton. Wow. Okay.
I had them beat Ohio State and Syracuse, but I had them lose in the Sweet 16.
What? Okay, to Kansas?
No. The New Mexico.
I had New Mexico.
I had New Mexico as one of my teams.
I had New Mexico winning in the first round and then losing to Kansas.
I would have had Kansas.
Round.
They had Embiid, but they didn't have Embiid, so it's a big. But anyway, in the key thing in this match between Dayton and Stanford is I think both of these ball clubs they're not. They don't know what it feels like to be in this environment of play in the Sweet 16. So I think turnovers is going to be a big factor in this game. I feel like Dayton has the upper hand, though, going through Ohio State and Syracuse. They are hot and they are rolling, going through two organizations that are fundamentally sound in basketball and have always been in their legacy. Dayton's game consists of being an effective shooting ball club. They shoot 40% from the three, which is a pretty good number. But the only thing about Dayton is they don't score in the paint, sort of like Duke, but not as good as Duke. So I think that they're going to need to, if their shot's not on, I think that Stanford could win this game. Chelsea Randall, the point guard for Stanford, has been playing really good. He made a couple of big plays in the Kansas game, and he'll be looking to take over the game offensively for the Cardinals. But I just think that if Dayton could keep the turnover factor marginalized, they will be able to cruise by Stanford. I got Dayton.
Oh, yeah. I have Dayton also, actually. I have them based on their defense. You know, they're really good defensively. You know, I mean, that kind of is particularly the reason why they, surpassed Ohio State and Syracuse.
Sure.
I mean, think about it.
They give up like 50 points, right?
Yeah.
50-point area to both teams.
Syracuse only made one shot outside of the paint against Dayton.
That's a good point, Sean.
And then, in terms of Stanford, I mean, size is going to be a big factor for Stanford. Among their starters, they have a 6'11" center, 6'10" power forward, 6'7", combo forward. I mean, size is a factor for them, but I have Dayton.
I'm going with the size factor that you just said. I think that Stanford is a smart team. Yes, Dayton is they're hot right now.
Yeah, those two ball clubs they beat.
They might very well be the hottest team in this tournament right now. But I think that Stanford, two big pluses as to why they're going to win this game. Their size. They're going to be able to pound the ball inside against Dayton and really work the paint and control the boards. And they're a smart ball club.
Yeah, they don't shoot a lot from the outside, as you guys said. Stanford is a solid inside team, sort of like Baylor. Baylor likes to score in the paint.
You know what? That is an excellent segue, because now we'll be looking at the other two games tonight in the West region. And you know what? Let's go right into Baylor. We've got Baylor against Wisconsin, the 6 seed matching up with the 2 seed. Mm-hmm. I've got Baylor here. Again, their size. I had Baylor in the Elite Eight from the outset. I just like the way that they play. Scott Drew does an excellent job with that ball club. And last year they won the NIT. Uh-huh. They know how to play in March. Granted, that was a different tournament, but they know how to play in March. He gets that team riled up. And I'm just not sold on Wisconsin.
You know what? Exactly. And both of these teams are totally two different type of offensive-minded and defensive-minded ball clubs. Wisconsin they're a strictly shooting team. If they cannot score, they cannot win games. They play absolutely no defense. They provide on scoring the ball. While Baylor, on the other hand, is a defensive-minded team. they're always, as you said, they're riled up right now. They're critical of pounding the glass, getting offensive rebounds. And if the ball stops moving, Wisconsin could have trouble in this game against Baylor. Baylor's going to get in their head. This is going to be a tough game. But if Wisconsin can pull off this win, they could maybe reach the Final Four. However, I don't see Baylor knocking off another elite team like back consecutively after beating who they beat Creighton. Yeah, I don't see them beating Creighton and
Wisconsin.
Yeah, back to back. That'd be a tough streak to build right there.
If Baylor was to win this game, it would be entirely, to me, due with the length that they have.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they have healthy guard play on top of that, but I mean, on the perimeter they have tons of size. And right now, I mean, I don't see it happening, as you just mentioned. I feel like Wisconsin's gonna come up with the W here. I mean, they're faster too.
Yeah, they're a great offensive ball club, but they play no defense.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. If their shots don't fall, I see them in trouble against Baylor, but I have Wisconsin too.
Putting numbers on those boards.
But Ian thinks differently.
Baylor, my Bears.
It's going to be a tough game.
Bears. Anyway, the winner of that game will get the winner of the Arizona State-San Diego State game. Good matchup here. Two teams from out west. We've got Sean Miller, who's a young and really a great coach at Arizona. His brother is a coach at Dayton, so that's pretty cool. Two brothers in the Sweet 16.
It's like the Harbaughs.
That's
right.
true. That's true.
Maybe they'll meet in the championship like the Harbaughs in the Super Bowl.
That's an excellent point. And then on the other side, with San Diego State, we've got Steve Fisher, coached Michigan, the Dream Team in the early '90s. So really, we've got an older coach against a younger coach. Great matchup here. Both have been ranked in the top 15 for much of the season. I just think that Arizona is playing at such a high level now. What they did in their last game, I mean, they ran away with that game, and I wasn't too sold on them at the beginning of the tournament, but watching that game, wow, they looked pretty tough to beat.
Yeah, Arizona is a great team. However, I see them as they struggle in the half-court offense. They're so much better when they get a long rebound. They're on the break, because with Aaron Gordon, Jefferson, and Nick Johnson, those three guys they're really athletic. They know how to finish around the rim, and it's gonna be tough for San Diego State to stop them in transition. So and also a thing that could come back and haunt Arizona is they struggle from the free throw line. They're not a very good shooting free throw team. So in the final minute of the game, Aaron Gordon shoots 42%. Jefferson shoots in the 60 percentile. So if one of these guys get fouled, the free throws are big in college basketball, because the one-on-one that can come back and kill you. So, and another thing that's going to come back and is that when these teams played in the beginning of the year, Dwayne Poole, the best player on San Diego State, he did not play in that game, and he's been on a tear. In the Mountain West tournament, he was killing, and in the first two games, he's been killing. He's averaging 16 points and shooting 62% from the three during this streak they're on. So I think he's an impactful player, and I can see San Diego State pulling out an upset win here.
To me, Aaron Gordon is definitely going to be a big factor. Definitely. I mean, I kind of like the man-to-man defense that Arizona plays. So, I mean, with that being said, and just the athletic talent that they have, I feel like scoring is going to be a problem for San Diego State in this particular matchup. So, I'm going to go with Arizona.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you for joining my side. Arizona topping San Diego State here. So those are the four games that are on tap for tonight. Now we've got 4 more great matchups tomorrow. In the Eastern bracket, we've got the 3 seed Indiana State against the 7 seed Connecticut.
Iowa State.
I can't even read my script here.
Right.
That's how bad it is. Now, Iowa State, and the bad thing is, I have them in the Elite Eight.
I love Iowa State.
I think that the one downfall to them is that one of their best players,
The loss of,
is injured, and I think it didn't hurt them in
Niang.
Niang.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt them in their first 2 rounds. UConn's a tough team. I think it could come back to hurt them this round. I still think they're gonna win this game, but I'm a little nervous about it.
Both of these teams, their orchestra of their offense comes from their backcourt play. DeAndre Kane of Iowa State he almost had a triple-double last game. So, and Shabazz Napier is in the running for National Player of the Year behind Doug McDermott. So, it honestly comes down to who's going to outdo who. Is DeAndre Kane going to outdo Shabazz, or is Shabazz going to play better than Kane? And the thing is, both of these players need to stay out of foul trouble, because when they come out of the game, both teams struggle because both of their best players are not on the floor. So, but I love DeAndre Kane. I think he's a solid pick, and I think that the loss of Niang, as Ian said, is big. But in a game like this, Connecticut, UConn, they're not very big in size. They usually are in the past couple of years. They're more focused on their backcourt play, so they've adapted a new game. But the Niang is a big loss. But I have Iowa State. I'm going with Ian Sachs here. Iowa State pulling it out.
Yeah, I mean, although for Connecticut, to me, I'm expecting Shabazz Napier to really show out and kind of have a good game. I mean, he's had a great season so far. Averaging 18 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals per game. He's been shooting 38.8% rather from 3 this season thus far. But I mean, I feel like the guard duo that Iowa State has with their seniors in DeAndre and Melvin, that's going to keep them afloat. So with that being said, I'm going to have to agree with you guys and go with Iowa State.
Good pick.
The other game, the winner of that game, so we're all advancing Iowa State in the bracket, will get the top seed in the region, Virginia, out of the ACC, and the 4 seed Michigan State. Fellas, I'll open it up to you first, and then I'll give my opinion.
Tom Izzo has stated that he thinks Virginia is one of the best teams in the country on defense, and he has a solid point, because Virginia is yielding a nation-low 55.5 to opposing teams. So this is going to be the battle of the boards. Adrian Payne is going to be the answer, though. And Michigan State will win this game because Adrian Payne is the best player in the country right now in college basketball.
Well, with that being said, I'm going to have to go with Michigan State. I feel like they're finally healthy, and loaded. And then when it comes to them, I feel like, both teams play really great defense. However, Virginia, they like to play their zone defense, but a kind of packed zone defense where they tend to allow a lot of perimeter shots to go up and allow a lot of perimeter passing. They kind of play real tucked in kind of zone defense. I'm not too much of a fan of that, but yeah, I'll go with Michigan State. Like you said, Adrian Payne, I expect him to be wreaking havoc.
Let me start off by saying great season for Virginia. Absolutely phenomenal.
Saw it coming.
I certainly didn't. Absolutely phenomenal, getting a 1 seed, winning the ACC regular season championship and tournament championship. But the season is coming to an end tomorrow night. Michigan State is 23-1 this season when they're full strength. 23-1. Tom Izzo knows how to win in March. Absolute great coach.
My favorite coach in college basketball.
That's a great person to have as a favorite coach. Absolutely. as both of you mentioned, Adrian Payne is playing lights out right now. Keith Appling is a
Great
phenomenal guard. Michigan State is the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
They are absolutely the real deal. So now that wraps up the East region. We've got one more region to look at. We've got the Midwest now. Also staying in the Big Ten, we've got the 2-seed Michigan going up against the 11-seed Tennessee. I'm sure a lot of people had Duke there, but Michigan is playing great basketball. They won the Big Ten regular season championship. John Beilein, they went to the championship last year. I think that they are going to take care of Tennessee in this game.
Yeah, I think so too, but the thing is they're going to need to – Tennessee's big inside. They do not score from the outside. Jermaine Stokes, they're all inside play. Their forwards are scrappy down low. They like to pound the glass. Michigan, if in order to win this game, they have to control the rebound margin. Enough said. But I'm going to go with Michigan.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Michigan here, you know. I mean, last year they it was really entertaining to watch them, mainly because, you know, Trey Burke and Tim Hardaway. But regardless of that, I mean, they have the perimeter shooting. I feel like they're going to need to prevail. And, yeah, basically that's it.
And so we all have Michigan winning this game. And then the last game that we have to look at, absolute great matchup. The battle for the Bluegrass State. 4-seed Louisville against the 8-seed Kentucky. Absolute battle. Rick Pitino, John Calipari. Wow. This is going to be some game. It's
like a national championship in its own.
Certainly. I think that if these two teams weren't in the same region, this could be a Final Four national championship matchup. I think that both teams are playing exceptionally well as of late, and really, if people think that the Kentucky-Wichita State game had the feeling of an Elite Eight game, this is going to have the feeling of a Final Four game.
Oh yeah, and definitely the winner of this game is going to go to the Final Four, because they're going to have that swagger and that motivation to get there. And I honestly, right now, I feel like Louisville has been struggling in this tournament. They're getting by teams barely. They barely got by Manhattan. And I feel like Kentucky, after playing Wichita State, I feel like they have the everyone's healthy. Everyone's playing into their own. They're playing together. And I feel like the Harrison brothers and Randall and Calipari will get it done. I'm going to go with Kentucky. Although I did have Louisville in my national championship, but I'm going to change that.
Well, I'm going to go with Louisville. I mean, they have a lot of different factors, you know. I mean, they have, you know, Smith, who's unmatched ability to create his own shot, you know, and find teammates. So, like, I feel like they basically have what it takes. And also, you know, they were there last year. And just off of that as well, to me, you know, they have the low post strength of what Montrell's. How do you pronounce his name?
Who?
I don't even know how to pronounce his name, bro.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Bro.
Louisville. I think that yes, they're just barely getting by teams, but that's all you need in March. And
the full court press too. I like that. The way they harassed teams.
And I think that Kentucky, you know, was so up for the Wichita State game that they might have a little bit of a letdown. I've got Louisville in my national championship game. I'm sticking with the Cardinals. They're going to take this game, and the Sweet 16 matchups are going to be absolutely great. And this time next week, we will know who the Final Four are, and we will take an in-depth look at those four teams. So stick around. We're going to take a very quick break, and then we'll be back to do some NBA, our weekly pick'em. Stick around.